Hi, this is Hardfoil, and we're going to do a quick review of a Tracer VOD submitted by user Ramen Guy, who asked if someone could review his Tracer play. I'm not a Tracer main, I should throw that out there, but I do have some experience, and I think I have enough in-game time to recognize a number of the habits that are good or bad about certain Tracers. So, his commentary and the things he wants to look out for are, quote, I know two things. One, that my priority targets were shifting a lot, should have focused them down, and secondly, my aiming is very off from what it could be. Thirdly, when I use Pulse Bomb, I end up using an extra blink along with my recall. How do I break out of this habit? Lastly, how could I have gotten the healers down? And the part about McCree, which I haven't seen this VOD, so we'll have to see what that part about McCree refers to. He says this is not a loss. He does actually win this match, but his team kind of carried him, came together. So with that in mind, let's jump in. It's a 2K match. Two healers, that's not bad. Since we have a Zen too, I think as Tracer you can usually afford to be a little more aggressive than you would be otherwise. Insert Sinatra meme. I don't like the inclusion of Reaper along with Tracer. Those are two roamer slash flankers, and I'm not really hyped about that, but yeah, that choice isn't up to you. The focus in this case is just merely playing Tracer well. So I think if your team was all working from one perspective, I think it'd be better for the Reaper to stick with the team and you to do your flanking job, but we'll just have to wait and see. One thing that does stand out to me is that your latency is kind of high. There may not be anything you can do about that, but that's definitely going to impact how you play Tracer. I know some really great Tracers who play at 150 ping, so just keep that in mind. You're going to want to anticipate a lot more than you'll see in other VODs, potentially. I don't really like this, what you're doing. You're going through and you're kind of looking with your Reaper for those open kills, but you walked right through this house. You go straight down here, and then you swing off to the left and follow your Reaper around and through the house. While you're doing that, your whole team is over here on the point, and typically the enemy team is going to funnel right here through against the house or through this back line behind the garden wall or whatever it is, the trellis. And so honestly, going right through here along with your team seems to be kind of lacking in purpose. It's not going to achieve as much as if you positioned where Reaper's going. Although I realize stacking two people on that specific one spot isn't going to be as likely to do very much, and you're basically setting up your team right now for a 4v6 because you and Reaper still have to enter the fight. You haven't used blinks. Feel free to use one. If you're capped at 3, I would generally just recommend using a blink just to get around the map, be a little less predictable, make sure that you're in a place where your opponents are going to expect you. And both you and you and Reaper at this point aren't actually engaging at a distance that's actually optimal that's going to allow you to do anything. You might as well not be in the game. You did just enter here though. You used 2 blinks, so you do need to watch that. You only have 1 blink left to use. I think you could have blinked in with 1 and just hopped up. Right here. Right here. I would have blinked once, and then once you realize the Mercy's backing up here, I would have hopped up here and started buzzing her down because the team is focused on your team. You should be clear along with this Reaper to go ahead and prioritize the healers, but he's not doing that. He just backs off for no apparent reason. Even though it's a D.Va, he can shred a D.Va without any problem. Although engaging with the healers, that's a good move. Oh, Soldier, Discord target, formerly. It's too bad he gets undiscorded. Yep. Good use of Blink. Nice. Yep, you got a pick. You did your job. Hanzo's left there. You can stagger him a little bit. Nice. You want to be really careful entering that hallway right there. That was a little dangerous. But you recall out. It's not a big deal. It's just when you approach him like this and he turns off to the left down here, you fall him down. That's a little scary. That Zen and that Hanzo, all it takes is 1 arrow and you're dead. But you get out. That's good. That's good. Yep. Good prioritization. At this point, I think you should start setting up for the team when they reemerge and they start trying to take back point. I would either get up here and focus on concealing yourself and then jumping into their team once they drop down into point and start attacking the healers, or just go back to that house that you initially passed through, you and Reaper, at the start. Yeah, that one. That was it. This house right here, I would just get back and hide inside that near the health pack so you can have some reliable healing to count on for when you need it. I for a little bit too much. Cool. It's a really good thing you didn't get discorded and shot, because that would have been a guaranteed kill. You were only at 130 HP. I wouldn't poke there. I would let your tank do that. It's not your job to jump right back in there after two of your opponents just clearly put themselves right there. And for all we know, Zen could be right around the corner. It only takes one discord and a headshot to kill you. So he's just one enemy you have to be really careful of. I say that as a Zen main who gets a lot of easy kills on Tracers who don't respect Zen's damage potential. Nice, nice. Okay. Yep, you're staying hard to predict. Good recall. You got good value out. All right. Not sure I like this path. You have enough blinks to get back to your team soon, but you're going to be going a long ways out, back toward their spawn, halfway toward their spawn, going up the stairs, then curling back around before you can fight. There's going to be at least a pick or two before you get back. And see, you can use more. You can use more blinks. You've banked up 3. That's not a situation you want to have occurring too often, unless you're waiting for a team fight. And of course, then it makes sense to have all 3 blinks banked up. But at this point, you have another blink ready. Like you're capped. You want to try and maintain 2 or 1, typically, just to encourage, to get in the mentality of using them all the time. It's a free tool. Okay, yeah, you shift off to the Zen. I would have continued chasing Mercy, but I realize if you do that, you are taking the risk that Zen's just going to start attacking you and you won't be able to look at him. So I think switching out to Zen here isn't a huge problem. Mercy just left him. He's kind of isolated now. This is probably the right move. Yeah. Good job. Yeah, that's good. Oh, wow. Nice blinks. Yep, that was good. You used your resources to their full potential. Disengage, get out. Oh, okay. Let's see what happens. Do you actually make it out? Okay, it's a really good thing you had healing there. This disengage, you killed the Hanzo, right? Or you weaken him. Why do you circle back into the house? That confuses me, because you should be heading out. There's a number of enemies on the point, and your teammates are dead. So returning here just risks. I realize you have Pulse Bomb, but even if you get Pulse Bomb, that may not be enough time between your teammates' deaths and the time it's going to take them to walk back for you to actually benefit from the stagger if you land a successful Pulse Bomb. Even if you get 2 kills with your Pulse Bomb, I don't think it's worth it at this point. Because see, now you run right back into the Genji, drop down to 50 HP for no reason, Mercy reses, and if anyone breathes on you, you're going to stagger your team. Luckily, Zen catches you. And that was an amazing move right there. If you hadn't done that, you guys would have been staggered and gone 5v6 into this fight. So just watch that. Good stick, good stick. Okay, D.Va does manage to fly out of that though. I want to add one comment here. You buzz her. Good. Okay, 1 clip. You buzz her. You only use half your magazine. You don't go for the whole thing. I'm a little confused. I mean, I realize maybe you're just a little tense. You want to be sure the Genji can't point you down. But he heads off that way. He's dashed. You're safe. You can zoom in, clip the D.Va. You're close. Okay, yeah, you're close. So you go for it. But if you had tracked just a little bit more damage on her, as I think you're aware, you would have succeeded in demeching her. And then she wouldn't be able to use her ultimate. Or if she had, your team would have had a great chance of surviving. But as it is, she has just like a third of her health. Flies in, you buzz her, and she ults. And that zones your team out pretty hard. And you lose your Zen. So now you have no consistent healing to rely on. You're going to have to go for health packs primarily because your other healer is going to be focused on bigger targets, keeping them up. Okay, this is good prioritization. You're heading off after the vulnerable target. He's split up. He's unlikely to get help from his teammates immediately, except for whoever's on the balcony, because he's behind the pillar here. It separates him from his teammates. Yeah, right here. So McCree's up there. You gotta watch for him. But with this pillar right here, it's gonna be difficult for him to say, hey, like most people do, Tracer on me. and for his teammates to actually respond, because this pillar, this massive piece of anti-sight line, is in their way, so they're not going to be able to respond immediately. Although at this point, I think now that you've lost a healer, the whole idea of engaging at this point, when the enemy's on here, McCree has high ground, D.Va's still got her boost, and she just zoned you out with an ult. I think this is a really bad idea overall, since Mercy in just like a second or two is going to be able to heal the Zen up. Yeah, and you get flashbang down. So at that point, I would have just disengaged. So far, it's not really... Yeah, a part of it just comes down to lack of mechanics. Like, yeah, right there, because you scatter all over. You could just maintain this smooth drag, because he has very predictable movement right here. In the moment, I know it's very difficult as Tracer, but let's play this back a little slowly. So you both see that, and then go over here, and then you bring your cursor over to the left of him, and he starts angling off to the right, so you start tracking. But then you start backing off a little bit, which I guess it's not a huge deal, but it's kind of weird because of the stairs. You want to maintain an even curve. It's kind of like when you go around a curve on the road. Say, you know, if you're ever driving, or if you do drive or will drive, observe how the good drivers will hold the steering wheel in one position and try to make minor adjustments. So as he moves, he's in this very predictable traveling right direction for a little bit, and you should be able to get a little bit more headshot damage out of that. You zoom in, and he sees you, changes his direction immediately, and goes off to the right. So you get close, which is good. You're staying unpredictable. But then he goes off right and kind of does this hovering dance right here about where he is. He doesn't change much position. And if you had just tracked him a little bit more fluidly, with a little bit more intention, I think you could have buzzed him down at that point. Although whether you've actually even gotten out, since recall's still waiting, is a big question. So I think overall that was not a good idea. And you got punished for it. And I think that's how typically it should be. Cool. I'm glad you watched the kill cam. That's something a lot of people don't do, but understanding your enemy's perspective will make a huge difference in terms of your play. All right, so let's take a quick look at the scoreboard here. Okay, so you've got golds. Who cares? 30% weapon accuracy isn't great. I've seen effective tracers have worse though, and compensate with their positioning and their game sense. That's on Tracer, that's a little bit more of a big deal though. Your tracking and your aim really needs to be on point. So yeah, I would definitely recommend just going to training grounds or any other place, maybe some free-for-all before your games, just to warm up, just for a match or two, just playing Tracer, since obviously Tracer is the thing you want to play most. Or it seems like Tracer is probably your main. We haven't seen your career profile, but I just have to guess. Just make sure that you take the time before your comp matches each day to spend 1 or 2 rounds of free-for-all time, or do some training, or you can even play against bots. I don't care. But just making sure you're warmed up and focused on improving your aim. And just being intentional about where you put your crosshair. Because like right now, you're keeping it aimed at the ground, and I realize that's for sprays, but that's something that's a terrible habit I have a lot of the time, is I'm aiming at the ground, and then when an enemy pops around a corner, like say over here, I have to raise my cursor and aim at them, when you really should be keeping it about horizontal. Yeah, like keep it about this level, and I wouldn't say any lower than this typically, unless of course you're fighting a Torb or in a crazy situation. It's really good of you to watch your sightlines, but at this point you have 3 teammates out there. Since you're Tracer and you have your 3 blinks, you can rush out there, see if maybe you can get a pick and stabilize the situation, or still retreat with blinks left over, because you could blink, and then assess what's going on and come back. Because I haven't heard any real comms so far. But I think you're right at this point. Yeah, 2 deaths, soon to be 3 here. He's gonna get staggered, right? Nah, this is what I don't like. He's about to die. Don't try and save his hide. It's really stupid of that Zen to be hanging out here for as long as he has, especially the fact that he has no mobility. He should have just navigated over on this side of the arch instead of trying to go through that far side. But we don't know his full situation, so it's not really our concern. But he could have regrouped with his team at much less risk. I would be very careful. You're engaging without any real backup here. I don't know if you saw, but there's no one immediately through the door behind you. Your whole team is going to come down here, but until they reach a point, the enemy team's probably not going to pay them too much attention, and you've got 1, maybe 2 or 3 opponents actually actively looking at you, and Hanzo is one you really don't want to have to face. Okay, cool. Okay, okay. That makes it better. You wait it out. All right. Stay predictable. Good try. Good try. You had the right idea. Yep, McCree drops down to be with his team. It'll be hard to buzz him down because he's getting healed. Oh, but good. Okay, that was a good pick. That's what you do. If you can't go for headshots, just aim for, yeah, the center of the body. That was pretty good. Yep. Okay. It's too bad about the pulse bomb. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. They still have the point, so that's going to hurt. There's no way Reaper can clutch this by himself. I'll be okay. 2 kills. But yeah, that's obviously not enough to bring things together. Yeah, I wouldn't do this. Don't bother educating your teammates unless they've obviously displayed some teachability. The fact that you uploaded this VOD is the only reason I would ever put effort into another player, like, because when they ask for feedback, because otherwise it just falls on deaf ears. It's just true of the Overwatch community. No one wants to hear anything unwelcome. Just a tip for the future. I wouldn't bother about this. I realize it's a noble effort, but no one cares. Tough love. Unless they specifically ask for tips and show a willingness to improve and take advice, don't give it. You're better off just pandering their egos and doing your best. Sad life of solo queue. Okay, okay. You disengage. Okay, that was good use. Okay, that was really good use of your blinks there. You go in with 3. You blink 1. That's good. You blink right up in Hanzo's face. The healers are distracted. He's behind them. When in reality, it would be optimal for him to be a little forward, like about where you are, actually. You do have to watch the Zen behind him, because the Zen notices you. You disengaged. That's perfect. Okay. Yep. You bait out the reflect. Go back to your team safety. You've got a pick, so you have advantage right now, but it makes sense to play safe, since obviously they're watching the back line, and they're going to be ready if you return within a second or two. So buzzing down the D.Va, who's facing your team in the center, and you and the Moira in this area, is a great idea. Yep. I personally would have gone for a quick melee there, because it doesn't cost you anything, and you can just make sure, doubly sure to secure the kill. Right here. Go in, buzz. You run out of ammo, I would just melee, like reflexively melee. It doesn't cost you anything. Nice, nice. That was good. You saw an opening and went for it. Oh, good try. Yep. A little sloppy, but you got him. You got him. I would have maybe backed up at this point because most McCree mains, I would say, probably around this rank, well, not most. Okay, let's say 30% would just turn around and instinctively flashbang you once they felt that buzz and saw their life deplete, because they know you're killable. All they have to do is flashbang and right click or headshot you. So at this point, I would have buzzed him and then disengaged, backed up using 1 blink. You got the blinks to do it. You have 3 of them right now. But you missed the melee. He misses the flashbang, so it's all good. He doesn't get the health pack. That probably would have gotten you killed if he'd picked up the health pack. But you cleared him off, so good job. And now you guys have high ground control, so you can kind of establish this frontal area. I think going over in this side room might make sense, but of course there's the risk they're going to see you going there and then you can get piled on. So it's up to you. Yep, good crosshair right now. It went down for a little bit, but you're watching both sides. You're actively pre-firing. You're basically pre-firing. It's, well, pre-aiming the corners. So you're going to be ready. No scatter, so now you can engage a little more safely. Yep, good. Okay, that was good focus. Your Winston goes in, and you just helped him pick off whoever was low, whoever he was going for. Even from this moment, yeah, you can see there's 3 enemies. Hanzo's desperately trying to get away and just a fraction of health left, so you finish him off. Mercy's stupid and hangs out right here with your team, which you shouldn't do. That was pretty ballsy, but you dove in, got their attention, and backed out, and now Winston's up there to keep them busy. You've got a pick. This is perfect. Punish the Mercy. Anytime she tries to res, you should always, always go for the kill. I would take a little more time lining up your headshot, because if you take another 0.2 seconds, like a fifth of a second, just to line up the head accurately, you're going to kill her in more time than you would just getting body shots, potentially. Yep, that was appropriate. Punish. She overextends very, very hard. Ooh, both healers down. Harassing is okay. What? That was, dude, that was good. That was really good. Okay, you punish that. And then how does this happen? What happens with this dragon here? I'm not sure why you retreat like this. You've got 3/4 of your health and you're hiding where your whole team is on front lines. You lost your Rein. That's unfortunate. But I think maybe that's why you return and start buzzing him down. That's the right move. You should start buzzing him because you know he's going to be vulnerable for a second or two. But your Mercy gets speared, and so does your Moira. Good stick, good stick. You knew where he was walking to. He wasn't looking at you. You knew you could get the stick. Unfortunately, it's not enough to tilt the point in your guys' favor, I don't think. Okay, good prioritization. We'll see. This looks good, yeah. Way to stick it to him. Yep, you bait out the reflect. Now, this is when I think you should have stuck with the target, potentially, because he has no reflect. Instead, you switch off to D.Va. It's your call, because D.Va's engaged with your team, and so since they're already fighting her, it makes sense. But you do have to reevaluate how much health the Genji has gained in the time that you've disengaged from him. So at this point, I think it's a 50-50. It's not going to make a huge difference. Okay, now it makes a huge difference. Good prioritization. You didn't land him, but you did start shooting at the right target. I would maybe pay attention to where he is, because then you would have known to use your 2 blinks that you have left and outplay him. Yeah, that you could have totally avoided that if you had just blinked twice. Although whether it would have accomplished anything and done anything more than just stagger your team really hard, I'm not sure. Just because Tracer's blink is so easily heard. Ooh, that was scary. But yeah, you're staying moving, staying near the healers. I'm not really sure what you're doing here, except for kind of waiting for your team to regroup, feeling it out. Okay, yeah. This is the point where you'd want to tell everyone the high ground is clear. There's no one up there. Oh, that was scary. Okay, nice, nice. Nice. That was classy. I don't have much to say about that. That was pretty well played on the whole. You should have been a little more careful of the flashbang to start out, but obviously he flooped it, so it's not a big deal. You've learned, at this point, I think, not to respect the McCree too much, because he doesn't seem to have either his flashbang up at the right time, or it doesn't seem to pop it at the right time. Pulse Bomb, you need to start thinking about where you're going to use it. Another dragon? Okay. Why does he have no health? Oh, this is the part. Disengaged. You're too close. You are too close. That was beautiful, though. I don't know why your Rein is on the back line. That's a questionable decision. Nice, nice. Now, if you'd lined up that shot a little more, you would have killed her in one clip, but it's okay. Nice. Yeah, okay. Good recall. A little bit early. I was a little concerned there, but you did make it. Yeah, your team's been kind of everywhere. That doesn't really say anything about your own playstyle, but you've certainly held your own at this point. I do want to comment, yeah, you said you'll make sure to upload a loss. This is one video you recorded, and it happened to be a win with a good team. Usually I'm not able to perform as well. Well, you're certainly doing your job. It's not glamorous, and things are, you know, a little messy sometimes, but it's about doing something 1,000 times and then worrying about doing it in a classy way, you know? You're not going to instantly learn Tracer overnight. The Winston is going to be important to follow up on. That's all I have to say. Nothing's really changed about your team comp. I'm a little confused why there's 2 main healers. because neither of them is going to be able to keep you pumped up. You'll have to be a little more careful. Good recall. This is a bad place. Get out of here. Get out of here. The Hanzo can wreck you. The McCree can wreck you. Even if he's not amazing. Okay, the bubble's here, so you can play around that a little bit. Yep. You didn't have to blink down. I don't know if I would have done that. Yeah. Don't mess with this. Good blinks. You're not getting kills, but you are distracting him and causing 1 to 2 people to be worthless at this point. He's flying in a straight line. You can hit this without... I think... I'm having difficulty diagnosing what's with your aim here. You really do struggle to nail the motions, nail the people that are going up and down. I would suggest making sure your vertical sensitivity is at an optimal setting, either exactly the same as your horizontal sensitivity, or make sure that the value hasn't changed at least. And then once you've done that, you can, it's like we discussed, that smooth curve. I'm going to set that speed down to a little slower. Every time you see the McCree, all you got to do is start following him. Yep, you can't be expected to get much in there. You reload, good. But now look for him. He's going to come down in like a very predictable speed, and he can't change his direction too much. So you need to follow that. Buzz him down, and as it is, you're just kind of a little bit slow. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You're just not quite hitting it when he comes up. You should be able to predict the timing, because this is the 3rd or 4th time he's come up. He does land a shot, so this is the point where you need to disengage, either recall or go back for healing. That does throw him off, that's likely to, but you've played around him for so long now, he's probably going to have flashbang again. So I wouldn't recommend doing what you're doing at this point, but your team still has control and... You know, yeah, right there. You know how often he's going to go up and down. You should know by now the time, how long it takes for someone to travel up and down on the pad. So you should be ready at this point. Yep. That was a terrible move right there. I am surprised you didn't get punished. That's why you play around McCrees and don't play into them. Because you stand here and wait. You wait. You stand still and wait for the McCree who's falling to do something. Instead of being predictive with your play and actually guessing where he's going to be, you're just waiting for him to appear. Waiting here at the bottom, with him, he has the height advantage. You should not be waiting at the entrance where he can kill you very easily. He could drop down on the edge, away from the pad, flashbang, and headshot you inside of a second. And he does flashbang you, and that's the right move. But he misses the headshot because he walks on the pad again. Get out. This is a terrible situation. Don't do this, dude. I mean, like, well, your choice. It's a comp match, though. Do not just stand there. This is terrible. Dude, if you can't deal with the situation, this is the point where you need to be communicating to your teammates and saying, hey, I'm having trouble killing the McCree. Can someone please help me? Cool. So your McCree's over here. See, he could have helped you if you'd just spoken out on comms. I don't know if you have an aversion to comms. It's fine if you do. You don't have to communicate in order to reach top 500. It's really not necessary, but it certainly can help in situations like these. You get hit, you look around. Okay, yeah. I would, backtrack. Chase down the Hanzo with your Winston. Or actually the enemy Winston, whoever was that poked you. Alright, let's get back to normal speed.
McCree on high ground, McCree on high ground, guys. McCree on the high ground.
Good. Okay, you heard that. Followed up the monkey. You can't see him. Oh, nice. Okay, you did manage to connect. It's hard to see through big hitboxes sometimes. Things are confusing. Good. You're sticking with your monkey, though. That was good. That was good. You aimed with your WASD, W-A-S-D, instead of your mouse, and that was really good. You blink in here, and you go after one of these two. I think at this point, it's not super clear which one you're going for, but if I had to guess, I would say you were going for Zen. It makes sense because he's the slower target. He's the more vital target to kill. Teams can get on without one of their DPS sometimes, but getting on with, actually winning a team fight without both healers is really difficult. You buzz him through. Monkey's jumping. It's hard to see. There's a lot of particle effects. You buzz through, and then you look. You turn, and you see the Zen is right here. And instead of moving your cursor at all, you keep it perfectly still. And he dies. That was beautiful. And let's just clean up from there. Good stick. D.Va's one. Mm-hmm. Yep, not a ton you can do. I would go for the head more a little bit. You could have shot the Winston in the head with a little bit of effort. Instead, you just go for body shots, which, if you're not confident getting headshots on a Winston, that's okay. Just go for what's guaranteed. But I would recommend trying to hit Winston because he's got a really big head, and it should be pretty easy, even when he's jumping around like this, to at least land some of your shots as headshots. Right there. He's adjacent to you. You can still buzz this whole dark purple splotch right here. And he goes down. So at this point, you should only have one more team fight to handle, and if this is a win, which you said it was. So the only ults you can rely on at this point are Hammer Down, since it's actually ready. The others might take a little while. And now your team is kind of split up, and you stand still. Don't ever stand still. You're Tracer. Tracer's job is to never stand still. Except if she's crouching and doing nothing. Hiding and like waiting for a good pulse. Don't stand still. At least AD spam. It's ironic that it happened in the middle of an emote. I'm surprised that Moira didn't get found out either, but that wall just barely blocks her, and the Hanzo doesn't immediately see her. So now your team has to take that fight 5v6 because you weren't there. Alright. It's unfortunate that you prioritized the Hanzo just before the Mercy committed to rezzing. But it's kind of just how things went. It's not a huge deal. Good shot by the Hanzo. Your Mercy goes down. I would almost wait. It's not going to be too long until she respawns. I would wait until... Let's see if I can catch that. There we go. She's going to be respawning in just a little bit here. I would let her fly to you. Because as it is, she's going to be struggling to get back to point, and she'll be having to run through Dragon. If you just waited a second to get the Mercy back and let her use Guardian Angel, you'd have another healer in the fight. But you don't. So you have to make do without, and your team starts to get pushed really hard. Frankly, I'm a little surprised this fight is winnable. But yeah, your DPS comes through along with your Moira. Does some cleanup. This is scary. Yep, you get punished there because you're a little bit predictable. See if... Did you watch the kill cam? He's spamming, spamming, spamming. Turns and looks at you and actually takes a second to aim and headshots you. You've already seen the Hanzo's potential. At this point, the fact that you're not respecting his aim is on you. A crouch spam there would have saved you, potentially. It would have just thrown him off enough to ensure that you live long enough to actually help your team. Everything works out? Alright, you are a lucky person. Hopefully some of this helped. I am not a Tracer expert, but if there's anything else I can help with, let me know. My channel name is Hardfoil. I'm on YouTube and Twitch. I don't stream Overwatch that much, but I'm happy to do some VODs every so often. Have a good one.